are you doing this fine night? Totally did not mess up anything earlier whatsoever. Anyways, greetings creatures and humans alike. I am MagiQDog, and tonight, on this Creature of the Week, we shall be learning about... Scribble, 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 scribble. Scribble, scribble, scribble. We shall be learning about the Aswangs. And this one is going to be quite a doozy. Because after all, there are a lot of things to talk about this type of mythical creature. So without further ado, let's go on ahead and get started with it, shall we? Now then, let me get my notes and stuff that I wrote down. Oh, and by the way, y'all know the drill. I'm probably going to have a few mispronunciations and stuff. Especially when it comes to some of these names. So I do apologize in advance. And you know what I'm actually going to do? See this right here? See this that says siren? There we go. Now whenever I mess up or something, I can just do this. And by the way, this is a magic chalkboard that pops up any word that I can think with my mind. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. Anyways, let's go on ahead and get started with this, shall we? Aswangs is a collective group of magical, bloodthirsty creatures from the Philippines that can be described as vampires, witches, shapeshifters, ghouls, and so on. The appearance of an Aswang can vary since there are many different types out there. Also due to the fact of their powers, which includes shapeshifting, does make it slightly harder to pinpoint an accurate form. However, they do have a common appearance for most kinds that are out there. They appear as regular humans during the day, easily blending into human societies, with the exception of bloodshot eyes and long black hair and even long tongues. But during the night, they transform into terrifying creatures. They appear as ghoulish fiends or hairy beasts with pale or hairy skin, sharp teeth and claws, and red bloodshot eyes. They also have a long, flexible, sharp tongue, which they use for feeding. Oh, FYI, my tongue is also part of an Aswang too. So this is the kind of tongue that you'll be looking at. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. They pretty much use these tongues for feeding. However, depending on the species, they may have extra appendages or features. For example, the Manananaggal is a type of Aswang with wings and can detach its upper body from its lower body. And by the way, Nago. There you go. See? The Manananaggal. Or as I like to call it sometimes, the Manananaggal. Anyways, where was I at? Oh yeah, Tiktiks can appear as bloodthirsty birds making tik-tik sounds. And even Ghoul Aswangs, and yes, there are ghouls as Aswangs, are described as undeads that feed on corpses. With all these appearances from humanoid to beasts and so on, Aswangs can appear as pretty much many things in general. Now, the Aswangs are the most feared of all mythical type of creatures in Filipino culture. Aswangs will disguise themselves as mere humans living alongside human civilizations and communities. But during the night, they reveal their true forms or shapeshift into animals like boars and dogs, fly around in the air, raid graves, and do other things depending on the type of Aswang. However, they come out at night. They always are after one thing. And you know what that one thing is? Human flesh. Their primary targets are children and unborn fetuses still in a pregnant mother, or unmarried men depending on the race. They use their elongated prosthetic-like tongue to snatch up the flesh and blood of their victims, and also go after the child's liver and heart too. These predators of the night will also use other tactics to capture their human prey, whether it be using strange sounds or shapeshifting into animals to lure their prey in. With other kinds, Aswans may use other tactics, like the Agalon Hayopan, who trains and uses pet crocodiles to capture humans, or the Busaw, who simply raid and eat human corpses. And by the way, let's see. There you go, see? The Agalon, Hayopan, and Busaw. And in case I don't pronounce it right, y'all know what it is. Anyways. Where was we at? Oh yeah. Whatever the case, the Aswangs are predator creatures who are often blamed for sudden deaths or miscarriages, missing people, and illnesses upon communities, and are feared creatures of the night. As I already named a few and mentioned before, Aswangs as a whole are just... Wait, I mispronounced this right. I'm sorry. Let's see. Aswangs as a whole aren't just a singular kind of creature. Like the chins that I've mentioned before, Aswangs too have many different kinds told across the Philippines. And like chins, they are divided up based on appearances, hunting tactics, supernatural powers, and behaviors. And I'll be naming a few different types of Aswangs here. The first is a Manananaggal, one of the more famous type of Aswangs. These are the female ones, which split their upper halves from their lower halves from the hip down, and fly around with their manifested bat wings to find prey. And I may as well go on ahead and start typing these down. Wait, why am I typing that down? I already done that. Anyways, the next creature to add on the list will be the Silagan. These are intro-eating sorcerer types that go after people that are dressed in right. The next are the Kubot or Hamok, which I'll go ahead and say this. A.K. Right? A.K. Hamok. Anyways, these are ghoul type Aswangs who use their hairs as tentacles to dig up corpses to eat. A Busaw is another ghoul type who got hooked nails and a long tongue to dig and eat dead bodies. Let's see. Whoa. Misspelling. The Yanggaw are freshly turned Aswangs who have an insatiable hunger. Let's see. The Bat are Aswangs with their arms that are transformed into bat wings and fly around to eat people's organs. The Wakwaks get their names from the sounds they make when flapping their wings. From the aggressive laying hen sound making Bubuu to the vampiric bat wing Mandurugo to the fish's children shape Atikulan and more. With so many different types of Aswangs, it's hard to keep count. And by the way, the Mandurugo. By the way, I'm gonna be lifting this up a bit. There you go. And the Atikulan. There you go. Now y'all know what I'm talking about. Anyways, moving on. Now the Aswangs share many features from other mythical creatures, so it's hard to believe that they aren't actually related to vampires, witches, or werewolves from the Western world. Regardless though, just because they aren't related doesn't mean that they don't share the similarities. Whether they are from another continent like those of Europe or even on the same island. Aswangs and vampires share many similarities that some Western people might believe that Aswangs are just another kind of vampire. But that's far from the truth. The same can be said with other creatures like werewolves, witches, and even ghouls, since Aswangs also share traits with them as well. After all, Some Aswangs are like the other three to the point that to the untrained eye, they may be considered one and the same. Of course, I'll talk about this later on. As for the creatures who are similar to Aswangs in the Philippines, or, oh crap, I lost track. Or around the other islands, let's explore that. Give me just a second. There we go. The Magindara are mermaid-like spirits who are told as both benevolent guardians and vicious man-eaters. They share traits with Aswangs due to their feeding habits and using songs to attract them, like how Aswangs use sounds. In fact, they have another nickname being Aswang Magindara, or Aswangs of the Sea. Now then. Give me just a second. Wait. No, I spelled that right. Okay. The Penanggalan of Malaysian myths is similar to the Manananaggal as they attach their body parts. In this case, however, it's their heads that are detached from their bodies, with sometimes them having intestines coming out from their necks. And let's not forget the other Philippine creatures, like the Danag. They are blood-sucking spirits who are kind of like Aswangs in a sense. Basically, what I'm saying is that Aswangs are related to so many other creatures. Now, you may think that Aswangs are lone beasts that hunt their prey themselves. However, that isn't the case. There are stories of Aswangs who have tamed animals or use other mythical creatures as well, using them as their own personal pets, which they can be used to bring forth prey back to them. The one that I already kind of mentioned is the Agalon Hayopan, or Hayopan. These Aswangs are the ones that tame the crocodiles around the Philippines, who are already known to be man-killers. They will send these crocodiles to go and kill a human prey before having them come back with a body so they can eat. Another creature that they use are Aswang's chicks, or the Aswang's black chicks. These are cursed black chicks who are believed to wield the Aswang's power. These black chicks, or stones in some cases, are also used by old Aswangs to pass down their powers to the next by feeding the chick/stone to the new one, making a Yanggaw till it matures and allows the old Aswang to die peacefully. Another bird that is a pet is the Wakwak. Basically, think of it as a large vampiric bird capable of snatching people in the air. And I already kind of talked about this before, and while the Wakwaks are considered pets, you can also say that they are Aswangs themselves. The same can also be said for the Tiktiks as well, now that I think about it. But finally, another mythical creature that is used as an Aswang pet is the Sigbins. Now, the Sigbins is another feared creature that appears like a goat and kangaroo-like creature, with long tail and ears, and walks backwards. These foul-smelling beasts are like Aswangs, as they also feed on human blood, though they do it through their victims' shadows and feet. But despite being feared beings, they can be tamed by Aswangs, who have them as their companion pets. So yeah, like how there are many Aswangs, there are also many pets that they can use too. And just like how there are many types of Aswangs that exist, so too are their powers and abilities, which each kind may have in their own unique powers from one another. The most common powers most Aswangs have is predatory skills, allowing them to hunt down human prey. They also have nocturnal vision and can roam the night as their main hunting time. They also have natural weapons that they use, like their claws, fangs, and a sharp tongue that they use to strip off blood and organs. They are also shapeshifters, who can become whatever they need to be to get close to their prey, or make strange sounds to lure in curious victims. Now, here is where some powers are split off due to different kinds. The Manananaggal, like I mentioned before, is capable of flight and splitting their torso as its upper part will fly. the Busaws are capable of digging to get to their human dead bodies that are buried in gravesites. The Aswang Magindaras, and yes, I'm gonna add them on here even though they're technically not Aswangs, are capable of mermaid-like abilities since they are technically mermaids. And even those, like the Agalon Hayopan and other Aswangs, can control animals or other mythical creatures, like the crocodiles, Aswang chicks, and the Sigbin that I mentioned before. From shape-shifting to magic casters, to even vampiric-like abilities, Aswangs have a multitude of deadly ways to eat their human prey. However, humans have discovered weaknesses and ways to stop and defeat an Aswang if need be. Like vampires, Aswangs too are affected by garlic, salts, and religious artifacts, serving as tools to wear off and even kill evil beings like the Aswangs. Holy ground will also harm and keep Aswangs away, since they are mythological beings. The Filipino people also developed the Butang Paging, which I'm going to spell that out for y'all. Butang or Butat Pagi. There you go. But basically, this is a whip-like weapon made with a stingray's tail that is capable of hurting and killing Aswangs and other evil creatures. People can also burn blessed palm fronds, or fronds, F-R-O-N-D, I'm not going to spell it out right here. But anyways, they burn these things, which can repel Aswangs due to the smell and smoke. Also, and believe it or not, apparently even urine can be a deterrent to keep Aswangs away. So, basically just piss around your area. But anyways, the last kind of weakness is actually sunlight. It is said to weaken Aswangs, and in the Manananaggal's case, even kill it if its upper body isn't attached to its lower body in time. That's why if people comes across the lower half and are scared, they will actually hide the lower half so the Manananaggal will die when the sun rises. There are also, Oh, I see how I typed this down. There are other ways too, like striking the back of an Aswang with a bolo knife, using magic prayers to harm them, and even using a specially made anti-Aswang oil made from a coconut during a special ritual that are also other countermeasures too. And, I am so sorry. However, just because you got the weaknesses doesn't mean that you don't know when an Aswang is going to approach. Luckily for you, there are warning signs about this. Hang on a second. There we go. Now then, some of these warning signs are simply having a baby crying when there is no one around, or if an ill person gets nervous all of a sudden. And of course, if you hear a strange Tiktik or Wakwak sound, that is a clear sign of an Aswang near you. And also seeing an animal that's got no tail is believed to be an Aswang in disguise. So as you can see, there are plenty of ways that you can both protect yourself and know when a hungry Aswang is near you. Now, as you are aware by now, it seems that Aswangs fit into multiple other categories of mythical creatures. They could be vampiric, they could be witches, they could even be a type of werebeast. But why is that? Well, that's because Aswang species actually have 5 groupings depending on the race and powers they use. A famous author, who I'm going to be typing their name right here, Maximo Ramos, happened to study Philippine folklore and compile his findings and research into a book which he called The Creatures of Philippine Lore Mythology. Because of his years of research and classifying the Philippine beings, he is also considered the dean of Philippine lore mythology. This includes the Aswangs, as he studied all kinds, and as such he made the 5 groups of Aswangs within his other book, The Aswangs Complex of Philippine Folklore. These categories are listed as just the vampires, the Aswangs who are vampiric and drain blood. Hang on, I'm gonna write this down. Let's see. The vampires. The Viscera suckers. There we go. The Viscera suckers. These are the organ eaters that are self-segmenting. Hang on a second. Apparently, I don't know how to spell. What? There we go. Next, you have the Werebeast. These are the shapeshifters that become large beasts. Let's see. Next, you have... What? Next, you have the Witches. These are the Aswangs who are casters that uses magical objects and curses to enact vengeance. And finally, you have the Ghouls. These are the corpse eaters that rave graves. These 5 category groups make up the Aswang families and divide up the species that fit into these categories. For example, the Manananaggal belongs to the Physera suckers, while the Tiktik can be a rare beast. Now, of course, some Aswangs can fit into multiple groups, and some may not even be described in these 5 at all. Then again, with the case of the Aswangs, since they are considered just monstrous beings of Philippine folklores, it's kinda understandable. Now then, despite these fears that these creatures cause across different Philippine beliefs, they have become famous creatures with quite a reputation. Thanks to the author Maximo Ramos, these creatures have been told to across the world and are now told in media and pop cultures. With movies like The Corazon, Tiktik the Aswang Chronicles, Aswang of both 1992 and its 2011 remake, and the Yanggaw, they tell of these terrifying beings in horror movies. There's even a documentary that focuses on the Aswangs called Aswang, A Journey into Myth. With TV series, Lost Girls had a scavenger Aswang, The Grams told of one that attacked a pregnant woman, and the Filipino TV series My Darling Aswang, where a man got married to an Aswang. Supernaturals even got themselves the Aswangs as flesh-eating races. With cartoons, the anime-inspired Terrorize, which I recommend y'all check that out on Netflix and stuff, it is really, really good. This show focuses on a healer warrior named Terrorize, who deals with many Philippine creatures, including the Aswang. The anime series Blade also features the Manananaggal and the Mandurugo. However, when it comes to anime and manga, there doesn't seem to be an Aswang that appears in that media. But if you guys happen to find one, let me know in the comment section below. With books, Maximo Ramos with his works that I mentioned before obviously come to mind. But there are others like the Aswang Who Ate Stardust by Alifite Denfox, Adventures with Aswang by Meredith Tabukad, Tabucalde, and Aswang, A Vampire Story by Lucas Alpay. With video games and games in general, the VR game Tales of the Aswang features Aswangs and other Philippine creatures. Demonology's got Aswangs as one of the as one of the 23 type of ghosts that you can encounter. And Devastating Dreams features a Roman who encounters a multitude of Philippine creatures, including the Aswangs. Whew! That is a lot. But now to wrap this all up, the true meaning of the Aswang is defined as the man-eater creatures of the night. Or man-eating creatures of the night. Typo. Vampires, shapeshifters, spellcasters, ghoulish fiends, and more. These bloodsuckers of the night that plagues communities come in all shapes, all kinds of varieties to spread panic and fear in the pursuit of human flesh. So whether you see a flying woman have in the sky, or hearing a strange tick-tick sound, or even seeing strange animals that are eyeing you a bit too much, use the safety precautions and hang on to your garlic or crucifixes. For the night belongs to the Aswangs. And with that, that concludes our Creature of the Week. So what do you guys think of these bloodsuckers? Do you think they're as evil as they seem to be? Do you think there could be way more than 5 categories? What do you think what they do with that tongue? Let me know in the comments section whenever this is uploaded on YouTube. Now then, for our next Creature of the Week, which I'm going to have to look it up. Our next Creature of the Week is going to be quite interesting, as it's going to take us to the Congos of... the Congo of Africa, where we'll be learning a certain sauropod-like cryptid that lurks in its rivers. If you guys are excited for that one, let me know too. And with that, that's pretty much it for our Creature of the Week. Now then, that is a lot to talk about. And by the way, I hope you guys like the fact that I'm using the text spell right here, where it's able to show y'all what I'm actually talking about. So let me know if you guys like that, or if you think that's going to take up too much time and just forget about it in general. Just let me know about it, okay? But anyways, that's pretty much enough about that, so with all that out of the way, thank you guys for coming on this fantastic Creature of the Week stream. I hope y'all had as much fun as I did as we got to learn about the Aswangs and their terrifying, blood-sucking ways that happen to be a lot of different types. And if you wish to see more of these creatures, let me know... Wait. If you wish to see more of these, check me out on my Twitch page, check me out on my Twitter, check me out on my Game and React and my main YouTube channel, and leave a like and subscribe for that as well. And with that, I bid this show adieu, and this class adjourn. So see you guys. So long. Bye bye. Okay, bye.